We're back. Thank you so much to BetterHelp. Don't forget to go check them out. Kamar, name and a number, please.
Kamar, did I go too hard at you over that Will Smith thing?
No.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like you caught feelings.
No, I
he's full of
think
feelings.
it's fake. You think it's real?
No. Listen, in all fairness, I was just a little thrown off because I thought we would all just be kind of talking about what an outrage it was that Will Smith thought he could do that. We never even got to that because we got caught up on whether we thought it was real or fake. But no, you're totally entitled to that opinion. And listen, if it turns out that it was fake, you're listening right now. 100% give up on everything.
Yeah.
Like that is going to be the straw for me. If that is fake news, I'm just across the board done with humanity.
It really happened.
Since we're on it, it's a weird flex for a comedian to have that. Like, you think the comedian was in on this. You think Chris Rock would risk his comedic career for like a
And like
setup.
Chris Rock is part of that Hollywood machine. I always thought he was like there, but not there, on the periphery, but always really a comedian at heart. But I could be wrong.
Either way, name and a number, Kamar.
Yeah, it'd be disappointing.
Yeah.
$17.99,
Give up on humanity.
Giannis Pappas. And like I said, Monty Franklin just didn't seem funny. Giannis Pappas seems funny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Yannis Pappas seems
Because last week I was stuck using, compared to the black comedian, they're so much funnier. But he's just trying to be funny, I find.
So I was going to come in here and ask you guys if you knew why Chris Distefano and Yannis Pappas no longer do the podcast anymore.
Well, Chris Distefano moved out west, didn't he?
No.
Did you see how dismissive that was?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't
but he
think
knows
I
something.
don't think
He
that.
knows
No,
something.
I don't think that's the reason.
Okay, go ahead.
I've never heard that reason before. I didn't know why, genuinely. And then this morning, just out of nowhere, into my YouTube feed,
Boom, thank you,
I was
Algo.
I was thinking it, Kamar.
Thank you,
I was
Algo.
only thinking it. And yeah, I watched two different interviews where the question was posed to him, and he did a very good job of dancing around it.
You
but
think they broke up?
well, yeah, I mean, here's what happened as far as I can gather, because Joe wasn't going to enlighten us as to the question that was on everybody's mind. What Yannis, as far as I could get, he got sick with COVID. He was about to go on the Joe Rogan show. It got canceled. He got really sick, right? He was like 3 weeks out. And then when he came back, Distefano had started a new podcast with Sal
Okay, yeah. From Impractical Jokers.
from Impractical Jokers. And I guess maybe not told Giannis that he was going to do that, or that was the part that Giannis didn't really talk about in this
That would
interview
rub a lot
I
of people
watched.
the wrong way.
So yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like there was some sort of, I mean, I don't know if they're not friends anymore, or I have no idea. But there was something going on there. It wasn't as simple as
Seems like they're
just
both all
moving
right,
out of
though.
town or something.
Seems like they're both all right, though.
Yeah, apparently, like Giannis is doing his own podcast, and Distefano has another podcast with Sal. So, I mean, I like both those guys. I think they're both really funny.
Yeah. They were really funny together.
In their own right.
He gave it interesting where his insight comes from. He was a social worker at 23.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting experience. And I thought it was funny, to your point, when Joe said Mike Baker is a former CIA operative. And I say that in quotes, possibly admitting that he's still
Thank
CIA.
you, Joe, for finally, I mean,
Oh, Joe gave us the former
Yeah.
Did I
CIA.
say former in quotes, which...
yeah.
That's
I found
interesting.
I found it very interesting.
Well, that's
Very
a slip
interesting.
up by Joe for sure. He'll get his hands whacked by
Too much
the
information.
brass later
30
on.
lashes.
And I swear they talked about the hypersonic missile, but that's been around for 10 years. He's still concerned about this.
Well, but that's how long mutual assured destruction has not been a thing for
think so.
10 years.
I think so.
That's even scarier.
Joe's just found out that the U.S. doesn't have them, and that's what's
Oh,
going
we
on.
We owe
have
the U.S.
them.
We are not the U.S., but they
Or sorry,
have them.
they
We
have
don't
them.
have them.
we don't
definitely
have them.
don't have them. But
Ours probably go like 48 miles an hour.
We
Just
don't
fucking-
have we don't have missiles.
No, we have like a wood.
You don't think we have any missiles?
Probably
We have a
not.
trebuchet.
A catapult, yeah.
They talking about how crazy people go for the t-shirt gun. Like, it just makes you lose your mind.
It does make people lose their
What
mind.
about the hot dog gun? Like,
Well, the hot dog gun, at least you're getting something to
I
eat.
know, but where are you at? That you're like,
I really
elbowing a granny
Yeah.
to reach over to get.
I
the
really
hot
want
dog.
my food shot out of a gun.
Here's the thing about the hot dog.
Is there
It's,
mustard
you
on
don't
it?
have to leave your seat then, to go and brave the lions to
If
get
you
a
win
hot dog.
if you get the hot dog gun, you feel like today's a good day.
But the t-shirt gun, you're getting a junk ass t-shirt, man.
I feel
There's
like
no
all
doubt
the hot
about
dogs should be served out of the gun. Like you can't get a hot dog that isn't like you order it from your seat.
Well,
and
I'm
then
surprised that didn't become like a COVID thing. To keep people away.
guy's
from
in the
each other.
aisle, he's
They're
just 10 feet from you, shoots it at you.
all your food gets shot at
Yeah,
you
I
from
like
now
that,
on.
yeah.
Right in the
Pops
mouth.
you in the mouth. Yeah.
Well, I guess those restaurants in maybe
Restaurants.
restaurant. I don't know, man. Those places where people eat in
Yeah.
Japan,
Yeah.
where they pay to go out and eat.
Yeah.
Those places,
A restaurant. Yeah.
whatever it is. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they have like the pneumatic tube system,
Yeah.
and your food like comes through the tube, or there are other ones where it goes around on a conveyor belt. Those are all very good COVID implementations, which makes sense because they're coming from Asian countries where people are worried about masks and that kind of stuff from
There's a
before.
sushi. There's a sushi restaurant.
Wow.
There's a sushi restaurant in Orleans that has a robot waiter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
and,
mean,
it comes up to the table.
Yeah.
Nice. Because I've seen just the
well,
iPad
we
on
all
the table.
that's normal. That you get that at even like the cheapest buffets now. The
No, no.
tablets.
I'm talking. I'm not.
No. I understand, but like, it's not a real robot, Matt. It's a tablet in a fucking remote controlled
No, it's
car.
gotta
You
know
know
where it's
what?
going.
You know what I'm saying?
I
It's
think
just
more like a
Sure.
they're not. It's not a
vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, it's like a Roomba that brings your
it's
food.
Yeah,
control.
it's
Yeah.
not like an not an Honda, but a Honda robot.
It's not an Honda.
building your
Easy
food.
Street
It's
Fighter.
not do with his hand.
Do you guys know who the White House press secretary is?
No.
She looks like sort of like
Jen Psaki, isn't that her name?
Jen Psaki.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Looks like Queen's Gambit, sort of.
I'm totally. I have no idea.
She's
There
that
is-
ginger cunt.
That's just a grindhouse where you just lie on behalf of the president, like whoever it is, Republicans or
A grindhouse?
well, yeah.
What's a grindhouse?
where just people get chopped up and spit out? Like how many did Trump go through? Right?
You know what's crazy? It's funny you mention it because when you hear what the president makes, you're like, this is an obscenely low amount of money.
$400,000.
No, that's how much Fauci makes.
Either way, I think it's like 200. Let's say it's 400 plus expenses, and who cares? 400 grand to be the president. Like, imagine what she gets paid
Not that.
just to eat fucking
to eat
shit
shit all day.
day
Yeah.
in and day out
And
for
it's- and it
4
does-
fucking years.
It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat.
No, there's
It's the
dude,
position.
there's everyone in the room. Yeah,
$450,000.
That's how much the president makes.
400 with an expense of 50,000.
and like you said, Kamar, too, it's got to weigh on your soul when you're just lying
Just
every
these
day.
vapid people.
And like obvious lies. Too. That's got to be the worst.
They talked about Bert Kreischer. He's out of control. I don't know if you saw him on Flagrant,
No.
but he got on Flagrant and he can't have a conversation. He just goes into Bert mode. Like he's out of control.
Did his shirt stay on?
I watched one of those and let me start by saying I am a piece of shit. I have done nothing with my life. I just whatever. Like I'm not. I don't want to just hate on him because I'm like trying to push me forward. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I watched like a compilation of like Bert's career.
Yeah.
His rise.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, he really made this happen, you know?
Yes,
like he
100%.
he manifested this whatever it is into existence. And he has to work really hard to
Maintain what he's built.
maintain. Yeah, it just must be
It
exhausting.
must be exhausting.
It must be exhausting.
And I mean,
Well, dude, imagine being the life of the party, like having to be the life of the party
yeah, it
everywhere
just
you go.
it
Oh, fuck
exhausts
that.
me to watch him. I hope like it all works out well, but they just like he lives so hard, and it's either him, you're either Bert Kreischer or Doug Stanhope, or you have to be Those are the two extremes of just the hard-living
Yeah.
comedian.
No, but I mean, like Mark Norman is a hard-living comedian, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think those guys were.
But yeah, it's not like him and Bert Kreischer are almost like different organisms. You know what I'm saying? That they're both comedians.
Well, Mark
they're both
Norman hates
successful
himself so
comedians.
much he doesn't want to self-promote him. Like even when he does skits and stuff, you see Mark Norman sort of hates himself for doing it.
Or
He
like,
just wants to be a
or
stand-up.
like, what's his name? Who's the big guy? Shane.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
he doesn't want to
just-
sell himself.
No, I know. It just
But he's hilarious.
And they'll all
Yeah, I guess
get
he parties
famous
hard.
at some point. You know what I mean?
But none of them will go as hard in the paint as Bert Kreischer
No, I
does.
know. This is what I'm saying. Was it necessary? Did he have to go that like over the top?
Yeah, I think he's making hay while the sun is
I
shining.
think he's a really funny guy, and
we love Bert.
his
We love Bert.
private time or whatever secret time, like that was a really funny special. The pulling off his shirt, the weird laughing, like all of that is nonsense. You know what I mean?
It'll be super interesting when his movie comes out.
Listen,
I
whether-
think it'll be a disaster.
Whether or not we think it's nonsense, he's still selling out across North America.
Yeah, he's
so
just
Yep.
his
No,
shows
no,
are just crazy.
absolutely, Matt. And like I said, I'm a stupid idiot. I just like, kind of like I don't believe Russell Brand.
yeah.
I don't believe Bert. Like,
Yeah.
there's just something inauthentic about. And I know he's an authentic guy because I've seen him on certain podcasts and certain shows, but it's just like, it's like he has this alternate persona, and when he's working it, he's working, you know?
He's always on it.
It's like, yeah, anyways.
Then they talked about Whitney Cummings, who's come down to earth. She now has her natural hair color back. Even she has admitted she sort of lost her mind for a bit there during the pandemic, which is good to see.
Because she was dyeing her hair?
She was just going crazy. Like, I don't know if you watch her Instagram, but she was out there like nudie, and I don't even know why I said nudie.
Nudie.
Just doing crazy stuff. Like, just
Look at
she's
this
just
puritanical cunt all of a sudden.
But like what?
out there. Go through her Instagram. She said, I saw her on a podcast. She said,
Yeah.
you know, I
She
lost my
went
mind for a
crazy.
bit there, and now I'm back. I was just saying that. Because I like Whitney. Wolf dogs, those are cool. You have to be 98% wolf or something like that, and you never keep control of them.
Well, of course, it's a fucking
I
wolf.
thought you guys could
No,
have
it's a
dogs.
crazy. You can't have those dogs are never going to be tame.
I don't think they
You
should
have
be.
to get if you want a wolf dog, it has to be like 90% dog and 10% wolf, and you get like those benefits from the wolf, but totally calmed down by the dog.
Did you see the dog he has? It was a Cane Corso.
Those things are crazy.
They look great.
They're nuts.
They're big dog, yeah.
Who had that dog?
Yannis has one. They were talking about Whitney has a pit bull that bit her ear off. Like, she just tried a little too hard.
Joe
over
was talking about those big pit bulls, you know, the muscle ones there, those
Yeah.
weird ones. But there's like I think they're called like Strathshire bull terriers or something. They're a breed of pit bull. They're like a little bit bigger. They're like a weight class up from pit bulls, you know?
I had a twisted daydream while listening to this. The Joe's dog Marshall gets like bit by a bat, gets rabies, and ends up killing him. Because he just, I was like, all those dogs are garbage. There's nothing better than Marshall. And
He literally
easy.
becomes the werewolf
yes,
and just kills Joe.
Marshall, what's wrong?
It's like Pet Cemetery.
They're talking about there's like plastic in the body now, and I was thinking that, and also like cyborg, and what if like it eventually comes, because you've seen they have a little robot that's like a magnetic little piece of slime that goes in your ass to bring out stuff that's stuck up in there.
No, I have not seen this.
Well, we'll show that on for the post, Joe.
So let me get this straight. They have a robot that's a little piece of slime,
Yeah.
and it crawls up your ass to dislodge like constipation or something.
Something metal, objects.
To get metal objects out of your ass. Why do you have those in your ass?
Because you were trying to see if something fit.
So like,
it's an off.
yeah,
it's an
yeah.
often
So like
occurrence.
when what's his name put the car up his ass,
Exactly.
they could have sent this little
this little
slime
thing up.
bot to
Yeah.
retrieve it.
Well, yeah, just the advancement of science. Like Joe sort of freaked out, like in 10 years or whatever, humans are going to be so much more optimal. Optimal?
That's the one. Optimal.
Yes. But as someone posted in our Reddit, they're decriminalizing weed on the federal level. May not pass the Senate.
That wasn't an April Fool's gag. That was for real.
Well, I read an interesting article that it's not going to pass the Senate because Republicans are actually going to floor a better marijuana bill.
But still do it.
That's what I read. Now, again, how much weight I give to this, I don't know. I read it on the internet, but the article laid it out that the way that Democrats want to do it, it's going to be like California, where there's just so much tax on it that the growers and the fucking dispensary owners can't really make a ton of money, so the black market still dominates. So the Republicans want to tax it less. Again, I just read the article like 3 days ago, or 2 days ago.
So it's fresh. The exciting thing would be...
No, it's not fresh. That's what I'm saying. I have no idea.
Such a dismissive cunt.
I know, this guy's
Well, no, but the exciting thing was this has always been the federal make it legal, and hemp has never been able to be the super product. I mean, that's one of the mainstays of Joe's podcast. So I just thought,
Well,
But
hemp
hemp-
has
hold on,
never
hemp-
become a super product here, and we're legal. I don't
No,
see,
but even
like-
then, hemp is still legal in the States right now. You can grow a ton of hemp.
is legal.
Yes.
I don't know whether there's hemp plastic because it's plastic in the water, is plastic in
Well,
the
there
body.
isn't, because there are huge plastic conglomerates that are run by like the oil money, I imagine.
They...
Did I nailed that right on
Yeah,
the head?
that's where it comes from. They interestingly did not talk about Will Smith and, well, I mean, cursory, just over it, but they talked about how there's no best comedy in the Oscars.
Yeah, that's weird,
Which is
eh?
just
That is
stupid.
crazy. How is there not a comedy category?
That should be a legitimate category.
Of course.
Yeah. So fuck the Oscars. and the
I mean,
go-aheads.
it's
We've said that
always
for
been
years.
fuck the Oscars. It's
when
not
was the
like
last
all of
time-
a sudden Will Smith slapped Chris Rock and we're all Oscars fans.
But it did put the Oscars back on the map. It's very interesting.
It's not a great map to be
Kamar,
on.
I will agree to that statement. It doesn't
Let me ask you
mean
this:
that
Are you
it
now
was faked.
Are you now going to watch the Oscars every year in hopes that
Yes,
another
100%. Who's slapping who next year?
I personally have watched the Oscars every year just because I'm that guy.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep for this, so I didn't even see Questlove win.
What a chump.
Samuel
You watch
Jackson.
every year, and the 1 year where there's the nip slip and you don't watch it?
Yeah, I know,
For
it's
me,
nuts.
the highlight was when the deaf guy won, and he did his speech, and the guy translating broke down. He started crying. Which I just
Couldn't even finish?
No, I think he inferred that this guy would be crying if he could. And it was just like,
Well, what do you mean? He could cry. Deaf people can cry.
not what he's
No,
doing.
they can't.
Well, no, they could. Of course, you could cry, but it wasn't like
I know, but why did he have to emote what
the
the guy was
translator
feeling?
was so moved by the deaf guy
That-
winning.
okay,
he
thank you.
broke down and
Thank you.
inferred his own emotion onto the speech. But
There
it was,
you
it was
go.
very powerful.
I'm with you.
They talked about the swimmer, of course. And until the woman comes over to the man's side and dominates something, it's just like that is what is necessary, right? For it to be a non-issue.
Well, I was watching the debate that got Destiny thrown off Twitch.
Yeah.
And
So it was subject matter.
he's unsure. They just throw you out when they don't tell you anything when they ban you. He said, "I believe it's because I said that men shouldn't compete with women in sports." That's what he said he believes it was for, but he never got confirmation. But I'm sure he's suing them like any millionaire would. Point being, someone in that discussion or debate, whatever you want to call it, they made an interesting point that I never thought of. They were like, they said, in the early days of sports, we didn't want to let black people in because we thought they were going to dominate. And sure enough,
They did.
ta-da, yeah. And I just thought, I was like, I never thought of that. I think it's a totally different argument. But it was just interesting, that's all.
Whatever the decision is, these sporting governing bodies need to make a decision, because people are if it ends up going the other way, if they decide one day that no, they can't compete and those are the rules, these girls who are competing right now, you can't go back in time to give them another shot to win their medal or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just think no matter what, they need to. And look, these governing bodies, they don't usually have to make a lot of decisions, right? Like they usually sit on their hands doing nothing. So
this is probably going to be maybe a hot take, maybe not, but I would just let the free market sort it out. I would say, listen, you want to have a league where men compete against women in non-combat sports? Then fine, here's that league. And then here's the league where it's a women's league and a men's league, and we'll see which one does the best.
I think that's the only solution.
I mean, first of all, we know that the men's league will dominate because that's what's been happening for the last 100 years. Like women's sports don't.
Because it's the addition of hormones that is under the guise like, well, this is what I need to be who I am. But either way, it affects you in sports where we don't allow that if you stay your gender. So it's just, I mean, I don't know enough about it.
Hold on. Just in closing, I will say, if you watch that debate, it is pretty interesting because
the Destiny debate.
Yeah, because there's a transgender person in the debate who openly says, like, "Yeah, I don't want there to be women's spaces," and it was pretty telling. You're like, because Destiny said he's like, "This is the perfect turf argument. You're making the perfect turf argument right now that all you're trying to do is not allow women to have a space." And this guy who is now trying to become a woman is like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
The other strange thing I heard is that the transgender population in America is like 1%.
Yes.
So it seems like it's a lot of changes in stuff for a small minority. This should be an easier solution. Imagine how many phone calls you would have taken without call ID. We've come up through that generation of just looking at the phone and I wonder who it is. And then that magical day when that big Nortel box came in your house and showed a phone number and maybe even a name. You guys ever listen on the phone with someone else, like ask what someone thought of somebody? Thought of you, say? You know that old trick?
Oh, yeah, that old trick. No, but my favorite was if you had a wireless phone back in the day, sometimes you could pick up the signal of someone else using their...
Yes, you wouldn't know who it was necessarily.
One of your neighbors, though, yeah, you could like... Dude, I remember listening
Hear
in on like
whole conversation.
Yeah, an entire conversation.
Yeah, so
you'd always hope that you'd hear a murder or something, you know?
Yeah.
Is that what you hope for?
Well, like a Hardy Boys book, you know?
Maybe just a passionate couple just dropped the phone and started humping or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a weird scenario.
Because that's what you called it back then when it was possible.
I love that Kamar thinks the couples, so like, I'm going to be on the phone with you, and you're going to just start having sex, and I'm just going to stay on the line.
Phone.
Yeah,
no, but you're just going to drop the phone like it's such passion.
Right beside her.
No, but you're not on the phone with me. I'm hearing your call. You're on the phone with somebody else. You know?
I know.
How barbaric was it that we had like roaming charges and stuff? Like now there's so much Wi-Fi and you can use other apps. I had a friend who was in Mexico who's like, don't call me, don't message me. Just I got Wi-Fi, do it through Instagram or whatever. Like there's so many WhatsApp, like pick your poison. There's some way to communicate us on cutting out Rogers, Bell, T-Mobile, whoever it is. But there was a time where when you left the country or whatever, you'd turn off your phone or suffer the consequences.
That's why I love when someone you haven't seen in a while acts like, dude, where have you been? Like, well, I don't know. I've been A, living in the same city as you, and B, I have a phone, Facebook, Instagram, like
it's really easy to reach out.
If you were really curious as to where I've been, I got about 6 million ways you could do it.
I don't have their phone number. It doesn't wash anymore.
That's what I'm saying. There's like,
if you've got to contact me, there is a way.
Yeah, dude. Someone I haven't spoken to in 8 years wish me happy birthday. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird time to. But I don't know.
And then Joe, this is actually when Joe got excited about cyborgs and how the problem will be with the Neuralink and stuff. The haves will have access to it first, and we're just going to be in the same problem we have. It isn't like it's going to.
It's actually going to make the problem way worse because.
And Elon even acknowledges that.
It's not even going to be money. It's going to be we could just destroy you.
To a degree, it's untrue, actually. And hear me out. They're not going to be the ones they tested on.
It's not the testing. It's the
No, but my point is they're
There'd be
going to
a
have to
couple
put it.
people who need
they're-
the money
not a
for the
couple.
test.
Do you think rich people are going to allow someone to put something in their head that hasn't been tested by like a shitload of people?
Prisoner.
That's
No, they're going to be tested and then disposed of. That's
okay. Well, if you think that's the play, then fine.
Well, what if they get tested on it and just figure?
This is what I'm saying.
Figure out
What if the first person just Bradley Cooper Limitless is the whole fucking
there you
thing?
go.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Pandora's box. It'll be interesting to open it. They talked about bigger animals to geography. Like
What did that sentence mean?
Nope, nothing. Made nothing. No sense at all.
bigger animals to geography.
No,
I know that's what
still
your note
not,
says.
still not
I'm
there,
aware
man.
that's what your
Still
note says,
not
yeah.
there. Depending on where you are.
A white-tailed deer in Canada is 300 pounds. A white-tailed deer in
Well, it
warmer
usually
climates.
has to do with
Resources.
Yeah. No, well, colder climates. The colder the
resources
climate,
as well.
geography.
well, you're going to have to survive winters, so you're going to put on a lot of extra weight, like a polar bear or a grizzly bear, as opposed to a black bear.
geography.
Yeah, yeah, we
Where
got.
you are.
Yes,
You can say the word
location.
geography as many times as you want. It doesn't make your sentence make any sense.
No, it's definitely not a complete sentence. But he was just talking about how there's environmental adaptation. No, that's not.
Yeah, no, you got it. Adaptation.
I
Yeah,
don't think so.
adaptation.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
adaption's not a word.
And so, like 3 weeks ago, it was 20 degrees here.
Yeah.
And I feel like collectively all our bodies were like, oh, here it comes. And it's been shithouse since. And it's felt almost rougher than the winter was when there was snow. Am I alone?
No, it's you know what it feels like? It's a pump fake because it feels more like fall than spring. Right? So there's those days where you walk out at like 4 and the sun is still, but it's like that brisk, like, oh my God, the winter's coming kind of cold. And that's, whereas a spring cold is different. It's like you said, like t-shirt, like, yeah, it's like a warm breeze. I don't know.
Not right now. And not this week as well, just as a tidbit.
So after looking at the flat Earth map,
Okay.
the animals in the geography, I'm breaking it down for you, Kamar, in like at the top of the rise there at the edges.
Yeah.
That's must be where like Bigfoot come from and huge,
I heard someone
huge,
talk about
massive
possible giants.
animals, right? Like anything over there is going to be even bigger than a polar bear,
could be
or
dinosaurs.
bigger than a. I know it's so annoying.
Yeah, put it up. There you go. Under. Yeah.
Well, that's annoying too, man.
Okay. I'll get you an extender this week. I'm so sorry, Simon.
No, you don't have to be sorry. What was I saying, Kamar?
You were saying that I should be sorry.
You can say on the edges,
Kill you.
on the edges where there'd be larger animals like a
Oh,
Bigfoot.
right. The what's coming from the edges.
All the women I talked to about Will Smith
Yeah.
all believed in Bigfoot. That helps. I think women believe in Bigfoot more.
Did they
than
also believe in flat Earth?
No. They,
Are you
I
sure?
lost him there.
Are
I
you
lost him there.
sure?
No, I'm able to charismatically build the case of it.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Build the case for us charismatically, please.
We don't actually know. A handful of people have gone to space. If you can't see it, you can't believe it. Apparently, no one's traversed Antarctica, and you cannot, no matter how much money you have. Why? I don't know.
What about pilots?
Pilots, I don't. They say
There's a no-fly zone over Antarctica.
you're
No,
not-
no. My point though is like
You're not high
pilots.
enough. You're not high enough.
Pilots have flown everywhere but Antarctic. They've flown over the North Pole. They've
You're
seen,
not high enough to actually see if it's a ball.
They say.
Okay.
And
No. I'm just.
still
Don't help
be-
him.
I'm
It's
not
his
helping him.
charismatic
It could
it could
argument.
still be
Sorry.
around. That doesn't mean it's a sphere.
Hold on. Say that again.
Yeah, say that
It
again.
could still be round like a pizza.
Right, like
But
if
it's
you
not.
don't, if you're not high enough to actually see that it's three-dimensional.
Yeah, you see a
map.
curve, but it doesn't keep carrying.
Well, because the curve is happening because apparently on this
Water's
map,
flat, bro.
Hold on. But if you're just hear me out here for 1 sec. Okay. If I fly, let's say along the equator. Okay. So I fly from some point in South America on the equator.
Yeah,
I fly directly west
yeah,
and I land back where I landed.
yeah.
Will I not see a horizon and the curve the whole way?
No, you won't.
Why will I not?
And you should try to do that.
But I'm asking you, why will I not?
You should try to do that.
Why will I not see the curve the whole way?
Because you're not high enough.
Kamar,
Kamar,
what was
you
that
can
map
stop.
called?
Such an expanse.
What was that map
The
called?
Gleason map.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure at 30,000 feet. Listen,
Hey, I know I don't know.
I don't think that's high enough. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist.
Listen, again, if you're at the top of the Burj, forget it.
Burge.
The Burge, you think you're going to see that. But here's why this, according to them, would make sense, Matt, is because it looks like...
You know what's funny is you
this.
always ask him to charismatically explain
It
something, and
takes
then
over.
you
It's
immediately
beautiful.
jump. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It looks like this.
Okay.
That's round.
So you're
No,
saying it's
'cause
a
you're
half.
still-
It's a dome. It's
you're
a half.
still-
But you'd have to, again, Matt, you'd have to do it yourself. Chart out that plane.
No, you'd have to as well.
Yes, yeah, of course. But fly and know you're staying straight and you end up right back where you started.
So just out of curiosity, Kamar, because obviously you've given this a heckload of a lot of thought. Why are they keeping it hidden from? Why do they care whether we're on a round Earth or a flat Earth?
Black people can't hear the N word. Humans can't hear the flat word. Flat Earth is up there with Will Smith and Chris Rock. Take it to the grave.
Fake.
Okay, but let's get back to real. They were talking about
Back to real.
crazy athletes. What do you think would be the best hookup to produce, like Shaquille O'Neal and Ronda Rousey, or LeBron James and Ronda
Rousey
Rousey,
sucks.
or
Are we trying to create
Amanda
a fighter?
Nunes. Well, no, just
You only named fighters so far, and Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal or Gronkowski. Like these, they're just crazy athletes, and I think NFL is crazier than MMA.
For athletes?
For athletes and impact, like MMA, it's one fight, and whatever you get worked if you don't have good defensive skills every 4 months or whatever, right? In football, like it's every week. Like somebody gets through a season without a crazy injury, someone doesn't.
Yeah, but what do you think camp is?
Fighting camp.
Yeah.
Well, that's what practice is in football. I
Yeah,
just
but I'm
think
just saying is if you have 3 fights in a year, you're in
And-
camp the whole year and you're sparring the whole year.
also the way Joe breaks down, like having to judge what the other guy's going to do. Imagine all the time you're running, 2 guys coming at you, trying to catch the football.
Oh, it's nuts.
It really, he doesn't give it the respect it deserves. And getting hit in the cold. One thing they said Minnesota is a dome, so that's not a problem.
Wasn't, though.
It wasn't, yeah. Well, we play here.
Yeah, I know.
And I can't imagine getting hit in the cold, what it feels like. Just
Why Green Bay's it's insane.
it's got to go dome.
Well, everybody should just
Chicago,
have to
too.
play inside, period. Like it should be even across the board.
All those East Coast teams are just.
No, I
like
mean, listen, if
crazy.
you're in Tampa and you want to have a fucking outdoor stadium, that's fine. There's no reason that everyone should have a dome. Like I don't see.
Right, but cold places
But yeah,
can't.
come
be
on. If you're
outside.
on the fucking the border of Canada and the U.S., you can't play football in fucking January. What are we doing here?
It's just crazy. I just think he may even come around, but they're crazy. And there's athletes that eat McDonald's, like Chad Johnson.
And
Eats
that-
McDonald's all the
Cincinnati-
time.
and that's sorry,
Cincinnati's practice facility is outdoors.
and that's when fans become fanatic because who the fuck wants to go watch a game when you're freezing your nuts off?
It's miserable.
It's miserable.
Dude, in Green Bay,
couple
Simon,
pops, you don't know how cold it is.
No, you still know.
in Green Bay, they're so fanatical that they show up early to help shovel off all the seats and like the
Yeah,
entire, it's
like
nuts.
Well, that keeps you warm, keeps the circulation
I
going.
guess, yeah.
again, nothing to me. No sport is worth.
Do you think
being
there's
cold
2
like that.
individuals that could breed to make a super athlete? Nobody.
Well, we know that they
How about
can look at Yao
Venus
Ming.
Williams or Serena Williams and I don't know, insert strong African American football player.
I like that. Eric Metcalf or Derek Metcalf or whatever his name is. DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf,
The guy
there you
for
go. For Seattle.
He's a beast. He says, you see it on McAfee?
What?
He eats 1 meal a day and 4 bags of candy.
That guy's a fucking monster.
And they were saying he's the closest thing to Calvin Johnson. Who was
Is McAfee on Barstool?
No, he was. He got his start on bar. Well, he got his start in football.
he defected and boom.
I mean, he didn't defect. He left on good terms.
Yeah, yeah.
Him and Dave are on speaking terms. It's not like a. But yeah, he started on Barstool. I just think he became way too big.
Don't fuck around with staph infections.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't go near buried prey. Joe was talking about how they shot something, and when
Yeah.
he wasn't there, I don't think, but when he got there, it was like
Joe always tells that secondhand
covered
story.
up with stuff. And that
Well,
made him-
nothing about that would be good. If it's other hunters who have found your shit, that's not good. And
you
if
could have
it's an animal, that ain't good
There's gonna
either.
be a bear coming at you. 13 breeds of dogs that can kill wolves.
Crazy. I was looking at a bunch of them.
And were any of them
Also,
getting?
they forgot to mention too. Those dogs wear these insane anti-wolf collars. Have you seen those?
To protect them.
Well, yeah, because
the
so many
wolves-
are coming
The
at
wolves
them
go
at the
for the
same
neck.
time.
So
yeah.
these
The wolf
dogs,
pack.
these dogs have these massive spiked collars that they wear. I've seen, dude. You can find a photo of it online. There's a photo of like 3 of these dogs resting, and they're just fucking covered in blood. Like around their neck is all bloody. They're bloody. It's
Well, you can see some crazy like wolf dog fights. These all sorts of different herd dogs.
you can
just
tell that Simon's
fighting wolves.
YouTube is all slap fighting and like minx gets animal fights and fucking.
For now. They were talking about pastors. Like, it's so crazy. Like, the Righteous Gemstones is the best example of it. But I watched, actually, I forgot to say this how my week went, the Tammy Faye movie, because she won Best Actress.
Okay.
It's very interesting. She still was sort of crazy, but they were against gays, and she wasn't. She like embraced them, like she was like a Christian about it. Like, they're all God's children and stuff, and that sort of, they used that to run them down, because remember her and Jim, he was crazy, big glasses, and Tammy Faye. You don't remember them
No.
from our childhood?
I know them. Yeah.
PTL. It's a really interesting story. And now you got Joel Osteen. Like, it's just crazy.
Creflo A. Dollar.
The
How are
rock
you a
stars.
fucking? How are you a preacher and your last name is Dollar?
It's a little on the nose. Eh?
God wanted it that way.
Come on, that's my favorite too. God wants me to have a private jet. You need to donate now. Get the fuck out of here.
They feel they're spreading the word of God, and they need the microphone.
The
to do
guy's
it.
name is like
Microphones aren't cheap.
Arthur C. Childlover.
It's crazy too that we pay tax in the U.S. and those guys don't.
That you pay tax in the U.S.
Yeah, well, the 3 of us have to. We make money in the U.S.
Well,
pay.
we've got to turn this into religion.
Oh, I guess we pay it here,
You pay Canadian
I guess
taxes.
you're right.
Pay everywhere.
but that's because we have an agreement with them, NAFTA. Otherwise, we would have to pay it.
That is the cost of success, boys. They touch on Chris Rock. Don't marry a woman with a headshot. We've had that discussion before. You can't trust an actress. Which is gonna be
what?
real.
Don't trust a woman with a headshot. An actress.
And it doesn't work out well. There's the famine mindset in comedy, which exists a lot more here.
Well,
In
there's
Canada?
a lot less.
Just
yeah.
competition and Joe was just saying, it really is a revolution. Go on my podcast, this podcast, it really, like, there's even for club owners, for everyone, there's a famine mindset. But there really is an abundance. Like, if you reach out there, there's people looking for shows. Maybe you need a car. Like, even here, there are shows in Belleville. There's a lot going on. And everyone's just got to work together. But
You don't think there's any nobody's trying to get ahead anymore. They're just
everyone
there's
is,
so much work that it's like
for
fucking-
comics, it's possible. But for club owners, they're like, I can't share. And it'll be their demise. Metzger and Dunnigan praise. Do you guys watch that?
No.
Like, no one can get enough of it, and I just never watch it. I'm sure I know Metzger's funny, and I've seen them, but I just don't follow them. Or like you say, maybe I do follow them, and it never comes up in my feed. But they get praise every podcast almost.
Oh, Kyle Dunnigan has gotten so much fucking yardage out of Joe.
He really must have screwed some exec over or whatever. Because you don't really like someone with his success. Like, they say, how is this guy not on Sun Live or whatever for what he does?
Who did he used to date? Sarah Silverman?
I believe so. It's a nice piece of ass. David Tell,
One of the best. Legend.
the best. And again, he just, I guess, doesn't play the game or something.
Well, what game? Like, I don't think Dave Attell wanted to be an actor.
But no, but he
He's
doesn't do
acted in plenty of things.
he doesn't do theaters or even Madison Square Garden. But he is the best comic. He's just a club comic. This is what I'm doing.
You might just enjoy a club more.
Yeah, I don't think he's, afflicted with ambition.
Yeah, he also might be one of those people who's like, if I have to book a club, I got to show up. Like, you got to do. Whereas he can just probably drop in anywhere he wants at any time and do a set.
I mean, I think they probably did some pretty big shows for bumping mics.
Yeah, but I think that was all at clubs.
Yeah, he's the complete opposite of Bert Kreischer. I guess I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't think he has any interest in. I don't think it's because he like missed the boat or something. I think if he really wanted to, he could have made himself into a 15,000 seat arena comic.
He could have if he desired.
I think if he wanted to.
Yeah,
I mean, again, I don't know
it.
anything about his inner desires, but
It's almost like a legend.
he's been in plenty of movies
Yep,
and stuff. When you look at his,
But he's usually in comedians' movies.
Yeah, I think someone reaches out like, Dave,
yeah, it's not.
of course, I'm
and I
gonna
think
help
that's
you.
different. But
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
all I'm
He
saying
doesn't go for
is
these roles.
he's gotten his face out there
Yeah.
enough that I think he could have translated that into his comedy career more. And I don't, like Matt said, I don't think he gives a fuck.
And
No,
then
I
they
don't believe he does.
They talked about it's a shame, but there's self-censorship exists. Giannis had talked about some stuff on some podcast, didn't even know, and the episodes got taken down. People are literally
That's not self-censorship. That's
no,
censorship.
but people now are thinking like, what should I talk about?
Oh no, self-censorship exists.
Yeah,
It does,
It's-
100%.
It's unfortunate, and I don't know if it's going to go away or not.
I mean, it's also
hold
good
on.
to like take a 5-second delay sometimes and think about what you're gonna say. You know?
Yeah, but I'm just curious. Like, you act as though like that person is not then going out in the world and saying whatever they want. Just because you can't say it on your podcast is a little bit different.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. It'd be cool if we just said whatever we wanted. Like, who knows? We may be hurting ourselves by something we keep talking about.
Well, I mean, again, like if you say fuck on YouTube, you automatically are going to lose like
Yep.
3/4 of
we
the
go.
audience because they're not going to show that video to most people. So same thing, like advertisers, depending on what the content. But, ask Simon. Simon says that Tinfoil Hat has like 7 ads a week. So obviously advertisers don't really care.
I think, and we think I talk about the next one or this one, but it's just like I haven't heard any horror stories from any of the other sites that are, say, under the guise freedom platforms.
I also want
There
to
is
point
that.
out when people say that, we've talked about this. I've never heard of Apple taking a podcast episode down, asking for a minute of a
Well, we know
podcast.
Apple does not care.
But
about
this is what,
podcasts.
but this is my point is like, if you want to self-censor yourself, you're doing it for money.
yes,
You can have your message out there,
you're doing it for money for sure.
but if you want your message out there, you might not be able to make any profit off of it, and that's a choice you have to make sometimes.
That is a choice.
And
Some
that's
adult
why
shit.
it all comes back to being a farmer on somebody else's land. That guy who owns the land, in the end, makes the rules. Like, you're still the farmer. You're the boss of your farm.
But that's why it's interesting when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to get taken off Spotify." Like, dude, just go to Apple. Like, it's not that like if Spotify got in the business of taking podcasts down, they would quickly lose.
No, it's extra dollars in your pocket, and nobody wants to give up extra dollars.
I understand, but if you have a true fan base, they're going to come and find you on another platform.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the most hilarious part. Like Joe, when Joe does decide that he has to make that shift to do his own thing,
Yeah.
it'll all work out the same for him. Maybe he loses some followers, but now he's not having to pay fucking anybody anything, you know?
I always think there'll be the next Joe Rogan.
Well, there's always going to be some new
Something,
Of course,
you know.
It's not like
What
podcasts
that'll
aren't going to
be.
die with
I mean,
Joe.
it's not an MMA like his complete complement of background, but
Well, Joe's also, what, 54, 55 years old? Like, how long do you listen to people before they become old?
Well, I mean, he's in a distinct position where he has a large enough listenership that will probably continue to listen to him well into his 60s. It's not like we're in a shitty position where, you guys are both about to be 50, and yeah, it's tough to get new listeners, to get a bunch of people to, you're not going to get a bunch of kids.
and he may become like Don fucking Cherry.
Yeah, he might. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%,
Just like
yeah.
turns a corner and stuff, and that'd be a shame.
But Don Cherry's an example of someone who, like Simon said, like if Don Cherry had started a podcast when podcasting started, he would still have a successful podcast.
He could probably do it now.
He probably could, but my point is like he got taken off of CBC and everyone acted like that was the end of the world. Like he could have started anything he wanted. You know what I mean? There was enough avenues for Don Cherry to
Wow, Joe though has answer because he's already on that platform. Like,
Yeah.
had he years ago gone down that road of going corporate, made a horrible decision, changed everything, he probably would have been fired by now. Or
Yeah, we also know, though, that Spotify dumped so much money into him that they're not about to take down shit. They're also not about to tell him how to do his business, so he's not worried about any of that
well,
shit.
he says if it gets too big, he'll quit.
Well,
As he said in the Josh Barnett.
Yeah, I don't buy that. But
Yeah, that's all I have for Giannis. I thought I always like him. He says he's moving to Austin as soon as the club opens up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I actually believe that because he's got a family and stuff, but it sounds like it's really popping off down there, and Joe's having a great time. And
listen, if I had the money and a passport, I'd move to Texas.
you don't have a passport.
I meant like a U.S. passport. Yes,
citizenship.
I have a passport. Come on,
Need some more Patreons. Rate it.
Oh, excuse me, I'm dying. It's the pot. I give it a. I don't know, like 2.5.
I give it a 3.5.
I give it a 3.
There we go. I know, Kamar. Sorry, I just didn't. This week didn't tickle my fancy at all. I just
No
whatever.
worries.